Yo, how you going? It's Lady Shamret, none less. And welcome to Box with Shan. And we are here to talk about who is Ryan Garcia. Who is Ryan Garcia? Yeah, obviously over his massive victory over Luke Campbell at the weekend, which was an impressive feat, to say the least. So it led me to decide to make some notes, make a couple notes, see what's what, and discuss it for the platform. That's what I've decided to do. So this is what we're going to talk about is who is Ryan Garcia? Yeah. So I've got a couple of people that would join me. Ready. Oh, Lord. And we get it popping. So yeah. So bear with the I people. And we'll do what we do. We do what we do. So this is the good. If the live doesn't really, people can pick up as I go along, or remember this will be uploaded straight to my YouTube channel. You guys can watch it back. So I'm proud to be joined by a couple of guests here and there. And we're going to bring in, first we're going to bring in Showy The Ras. Showy. Walk on.
Damn, man. You're right.
Thanks for joining me. As you know, we was on Pep Talks live commentary and watch along for the Campbell Garcia fight, and wow, just wow. I've got some of you on my page like this.
You know what? You're a character, man. You're a character.
I think I just made you laugh. I don't even think you barely watched the fight. I think you was just too busy laughing at me, Showy.
Oh no, I was watching the fight because you was well ahead. I was just like, you know what?
I was well ahead.
Yeah, mate, you was like 2-3 rounds ahead.
Easily. It was. I don't understand why though. I don't understand why I was so ahead of you.
I don't. God knows.
And in the beginning, you was like, "Yeah, man, you need to get on Brum Wi-Fi, man. Brum Wi-Fi."
And then yours just went full speed ahead.
Why? Yeah. Why just? And my Wi-Fi usually just isn't the greatest, but yeah, I'm never ahead.
Your day, man. It was your day to be ahead.
Day. Also, we are going to be joined by Fight Fan Figures. Like, this is Fight Fan Figures. He joins me on panel quite often. Great fight fan, great supporter of the channel, good boxing knowledge. So yeah. Guys, I won't be like this. I'll be going back some short back and sides because this is long. But hey, let's
listen.
Fight Fan Figures.
Evening, guys. Evening.
Hey.
What's going on?
Let me do
sound check-in.
Respect, man.
Yeah. Sound check. Everybody sound good? Doesn't look like
might check 1 2 1 2. Might give you a check to check.
Yeah. Doesn't look like anyone's joining us yet, but what will happen? People will either pick up as we go live, or they'll have to watch it. They'll have to watch it back. But actually, let me do something real quick. Sometimes people tell me I don't send them the link. So
Okay.
sometimes, well, send me the link, man, so they can watch it like on the YouTube. And so yeah, sometimes I forget about that. So they can watch it like on the. It's weird because you're watching yourself on your phone, like, and it's just like, this is weird. 1 second, guys. So we're going to be talking about who is Ryan Garcia, right? That's and I've made a few notes on who is Ryan Garcia since watching that fight. Hang on, just telling my group.
Have you watched the fight back?
No, I didn't. You know, not as yet. Like what? No. Do you know what? I watched bits, like highlights, but not in its entirety. But I watched the highlights that I watched, and from memory as well. It made me think about a few more things, but I didn't watch the whole fight straight from beginning to thingy. But I touched on a few key highlights. But I will watch it back though. On the mic, salute, Terence Bailey Senior. Salute to you. Thanks for joining us on Box with Chan. We're going to be chopping it up about who the hell is Ryan Garcia. So, right. So let me start. I've noticed these types of things with old Ryan, that I saw a lot of people. I was amongst them. A lot of people talking about that. I don't feel that he has great footwork, and I feel that he compensates footwork for speed. And D, I need you in. Do you want to? D, you're gonna have to come through. You're gonna have to come through. I've been looking for you. Like I didn't know where to find you on your. I'm sure I sent you a message on your. I'm gonna post the link on here, and you could tap in if you need to. Yeah, tap in. Yeah, D. See, this is why I love the interactive vibe, because look, you know, you just get your pals and that will just be. They'll come through like the motherfucking woo.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I love it. D, I'm gonna put it in the chat, D. So if you want to come through, it'd be massively appreciated. Like, so here's the link. El Linko. I'd love your input on this, D. So there it is on the there it is. So you can come through now. You can come through now. Come through. So so I know that he is there's my G. Hang on. Don't you love live, eh? 1 second, D. I always have problems with this, that you know, like scroll. Oh, there you are. Yes. We've got D. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. I've always had the pleasure to go on his platform and his channel, and I love it on there. So thanks, D, for coming through.
Lady Shan, what's up, sis? How you doing?
Oh, we're all right, man. Introducing you to my co-host is Showy The Ras. He's the smallest 4'11" boxer.
What's up, bro? What's up?
We got Fight Fam.
Yes, man.
Salute.
Good to meet you guys. Good to meet you guys. So
yeah, good to meet you, D. Good for them to meet you. I've been trying to find everybody to get involved in this. I definitely wanted you, and I think maybe I might have left a comment somewhere in one of the commentaries. But what you got to do? We need to swap details, contact details, so I can just like hit you like on the WhatsApp or something.
Oh yeah, I'll give you. I'm gonna put all of my info in the private chat for you.
Yeah. So what I was starting with is about who is Ryan Garcia, and I've noticed. I took a few pointers of what I've learned about him, and it's not to downgrade him. It's just pointers, because he's not obviously the finished product, and even boxers in their 30s, some of them are not the finished product or that finished article. But what I did notice is that his footwork, his foot placement, because he was fighting a southpaw, and he allowed his feet, he allowed his foot to be, he allowed Luke's foot to be on the, hang on, let me think, hang on.
The outside, no.
Yeah.
I was doing, you know, man, I got a strike on my channel from the zone. I'm dealing with this stupid shit now. I was doing blow-by-blow commentary like I usually do, right? I don't know, man. I'm dealing with it with YouTube now, but it's some bullshit. But anyway, no, I was saying that when I was doing the commentary, I was like, Luke had lead foot control all night, bro. He kept his foot outside. So see that a lot of things, a lot of these fans don't understand it. Take power off your punches, bro. It also fucks your balance up. You know what I mean? And that's just the learning process. Ryan's fast. He's got good twitch. You know, nice power, but he still got a lot to learn. And although he got that body shot in on Luke was handling his business during that fight. I don't care what nobody say. That was no. It's not like Ryan was running through that fight. To be honest, I think he could have been down on the cards because Luke put him down in the second round, and I don't think that Ryan was controlling that fight. He hurt Luke in the fifth round. When Luke looked like he was ready to climb out the ring. That was pretty funny. But outside of that, Luke was handling his own. And Ryan showed a lot of flaws there, but I always knew he kept that head too high going into that fight. I was like, bro, he's got to work on Reynoso's got to work on that defense of his, or he's going to get clipped. And he sure enough got clipped. And when he got knocked down, you know, that wasn't a flash knockdown, man. Like, that dude arm was behind him, right? When it's like a flash knockdown, they catch themselves with their hands. Even if they falling back, they'll brace themselves, catch themselves with their head, shake their head. Yo, this dude was kissing the damn canvas, fam. And his arm was behind him, right? So for a good at least 2 or 3 seconds, he was hurt, like maybe out for a second, right? He got up and recovered, and shout out to him for that. But Ryan showed some flaws in that fight to me.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why his corner didn't say, yo, your feet. Like, I don't understand why that wasn't rectified during the fight at all.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good. I saw it right away.
Say that, sorry? You saw it all night?
I saw it right away.
I don't understand what was happening with the Reynoso corner. I don't know. It was almost like maybe that speed was negated. The good foot placement was negated for speed. Like it was like that. Maybe that's just how he always is. Did you, Showy? Did you see it? Fight fan. Did you see it? His feet.
I thought his tactic was to try and step on his foot and give him a hook. And I think that he didn't really respect Campbell's power because he was happy to stand right in front of him, plant his feet, not be light in his feet to be able to slip shots, and was happy to just trade him, you know, to slip on the inside, get off some hooks, put some returns in. And I just think it was a case of when you think you're that much better, it's a case of we don't worry what the opposition's doing. We're just going to follow our game plan and go full steam ahead. He was quite happy to take some punches. I don't think he expected to get dropped.
I think Ryan got greedy. I think Ryan got greedy and thought that he could just bang him out and get rid of him. And Campbell showed a lot of resilience and determination to stay in there and cause an upset.
Right. I just thought he stood quite square. It was just strange. I just thought something as basic as that. I just don't understand why that wasn't addressed whilst in the fight, to be fair. So I said allowed Luke to have feet on the outside, plants feet. Due to his lightning hand speed, he ignores possibly footwork. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if Canelo noticed these things. Like, so after the fight, maybe did Canelo say, yo, like, you know, XYZ, we're gonna have to, you know,
100%.
let's work on. Hi, there you are, DJ. We have to work on. We'll have to work on some footwork, because I saw that they was working on definitely the body shot. To make sure it was full maximum power, because I saw him working that out with Canelo. But what I noticed was that from round one, like his punch selection, he's gonna have to get better punch selection, because from round one, all he wanted to do was the left hook, the left hook, the left hook. Like, really, if guys, if you want, you could actually guess from a certain point what his punch selection was going to be. It's pretty minimal, to be fair. Like, I don't know if anybody, I just wrote down the things that I noticed, and yeah, it was, he religiously, remember, Showy, when we was commentating, and I said, look, he's trying to just religiously throw the left hook, religiously throw the left hook. Yeah, that's all he was doing. Yeah, what do you think, JD?
But remember as well, Sean.
Go, Show. Go, Show.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Remember as well, Luke Campbell has never been stopped as well. So from that aspect, I'll give Garcia props in regards to that. And all that happened, I think, after this fight, he's going to improve and work on those flaws, especially being in the same camp as Canelo.
D?
Yeah, look, man, I just say it like this. They talking about these guys, you didn't see it? They talking about, yeah, I don't know. But they like Tank Davidson. I don't really want to talk about Tank, but let's just say Haney and Teofimo Lopez now.
Yeah.
Haney's not much proving himself, but between the two guys, you know, Bob Arum was the only one talking about Teofimo Lopez. I think the safer fight for Ryan right now is Devin Haney, because Teofimo Lopez to me just presents too many problems. I think Devin presents a lot of problems too, because a couple of times Luke Campbell had him confused there, right? So you're just talking about from boxing acumen. He had him confused there. And you look at a kid like Devin Haney, that's really his cup of tea is boxing.
Yeah.
He has very slight power. He doesn't really have a lot of power. I mean, he's not punching himself out of wet paper bag, to be true. But he can box, and I think that he can confuse Ryan. I wouldn't really worry about too much him knocking Ryan out. I mean, he got clipped by Luke, but Devin Haney's not packing a big punch. I think that would be the safer fight, because if he gets hit, you know, look, Teofimo hardest punch is the left hook. Luke caught him with a left hand. And then you get hit with a left hand from Teofimo Lopez, son, you probably not getting up from that. And if he do, he's going to be woozy out of his mind. Right. And Teofimo's not going to let up off the gas. I think Luke lacked a bit of killer instinct in there when Teofimo got up off that canvas. He should have went at him a little harder. Had that have been Teofimo Lopez, you see when he knocked Comey down. When Comey got up, he went right after him, right? And so I don't believe Ryan survives that. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He didn't have killer. He doesn't have. Luke Campbell doesn't have that killer instinct. Like, it looked like he was shocked that he actually knocked dude down. And when he knocked the dude down, he almost like looked to his corner like he didn't know, like, what do I do? Like, bruv, your corner is, you're supposed to just know to finish him. Like, finish him. But I know, you know, the terminology, a hurt fighter is a dangerous fighter. So he said, I watched him in an interview today, and he said the reason why he didn't just go like straight in for the kill is because of this reason, and that, you know, Ryan could have clocked in. So he thought he would pick him off bit by bit. But dude, that was round 2. You got knocked out in round 7, like knocked down in round 7. Like, I mean, how long did it take to pick? Like, you should have started picking a lot quicker. you should have started. And guess who we got? Pep Talk UK.
Yes. Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
MJB.
Gang.
Gang.
Original.
Yeah.
Easy.
Pep Talk UK. We've got D Jefferson from
Salute,
Speak
Salute,
Your Mind Sports, Talk Sports. You know how he is.
Figures.
Sorry,
Yeah. Salute, my guys. Salute.
Five fan figures.
What's up, brother?
Back on the panel.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're just talking about Is Ryan Garcia. So thanks for joining us. So he said that he'll pick him up. He was gonna pick him off bit by bit. So between round 2, like you would think by round 4, 5 that the picking would turn into another knockdown. He just didn't have the killer instinct. Pro, what do you think? Because I'm just going to quickly brush you up to speed. Is that we was talking about that possibly that Ryan negates footwork. He negates it good footwork for speed. So because his footwork is less to be desired about. Like we're saying, he allowed Luke's foot to always be on the outside. So that gives Luke a better, as a southpaw, a better, full on fluid motion and no awkwardity within that motion with coming from the left side. But what would you think? Because we did the live commentary and we thought that Luke should have really finished him off. Garcia should have shouldn't have allowed Luke to have his foot on the outside.
My answer is Ryan Garcia. He's a hell of a fighter, and when we was watching live, we're watching this hype. We're cracking joke and we're observing, but we're not studying what's actually happening properly. But I watched the fight again, and what I saw is Luke had his moment, a big moment in the fight, and moments like that, ordinarily you want to take them, but it's easier said than done because what I saw in that fight overall was Ryan Garcia was hitting hard. So I feel like maybe Luke knew that if he kind of rushed in to try and finish the job, Ryan might counter
And get killed.
or you see what I'm saying? He might get clipped or whatever because Ryan has got a lot of power. I mean, literally, you could hear the sounds of the punches. I could hear. There was some bad intention in them punches. So
yeah,
it's easier said than done. Like, was it a flash knockdown?
No.
It was a good shot. I don't think it was flash, but watching that fight again, I thought Ryan Garcia was on top. Like
he wasn't dazed when he got up.
Sorry.
I don't think he was dazed when he got up.
That's what I'm saying to you. He
actually said he was.
He said he was.
He actually said he was dizzy when he got up. Brian said he was dizzy when he got up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that, but he recovered quite well. I think he recovered really, really well. Like sometimes fighters, when they get hit like that, they go into panic mode, and then the fight is over real quickly. But maybe the experience of his trainer Eddie Reynoso said, look, at some point you might get into deep waters, and maybe the advice he offered him when he sat down was like, look, calm down, relax, stick to the game plan, and you'll get through this, and just keep doing what you were doing prior to the knockdown, and you'll get the victory. And that's what he done. Right.
And what was you thinking about the footwork of Garcia? Because remember, we're trying to figure out who is Ryan.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Who is it?
The footwork, like, because he plants a lot of his shots. You can see that, he's not on the balls of his toes. He's just about bang you out. That's what I learned more about him over the weekend. And against the elite level, that might have to change because Teofimo Lopez can do both. You know what I'm saying? At the highest level. So that's something that he might have to work on. But I feel like he only sat on his shots and was flat-footed because he felt confident in the win.
Yeah,
if a man's got more about you, you won't be walking forward like that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like because he felt confident, he done that. But when he has to go backwards, right, against someone else who's equally as powerful, then we're going to start to learn more. But all these guys, they're young guys, and they're still learning. So we're finding out different things. But I think for me, Teofimo Lopez has kind of showed to me that he's the most advanced of all of them all round. Like, remember, Tank has the most power. But
statement.
Teofimo, as he picked up that signature win against Lomachenko, and I've watched Teofimo probably for about a year and a bit, and I watched him live in New York, and everyone was talking about this kid. Who's Teofimo? Who's Teofimo?
No.
And the kid's good, man. The kid's good. You see, like, you can see boxing's ingrained in a minute from young. He's dedicated towards his craft. His dad really studied the game. I know his dad from New York. That's why I met his dad.
Yeah.
He studies the game intently, and he's passed that. You know, he's passed those words of wisdom to his son. Yeah. And you can see that the guy's very educated. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get on. But
yeah. So Footwork is the one, yes. Because Teofimo has got all of those aspects on check. So he's got power. He's got a certain. Well, you know, no one out of those guys are as fast as Ryan with. I would say with their
Footwork Haney. Footwork Haney.
Footwork ain't his greatest.
Yes.
Hi, Jalik. Jalik, hey, unmute.
Lady Chan, what's popping? Thanks for the invite. Shout out to Pro Bees.
Okay.
Shout out to Teofimo Lopez's manager, the best in the game. Jefferson, my home. Shout out to Showy and Fight and Figures. Yeah. And I just want y'all to know that Ryan Garcia is
big up yourself.
Ryan Garcia is Justin Bieber of boxing. He's the Justin Bieber of boxing right now. He got that skill, right? You can't hate on the guy. You can't hate on him. And what he done, he learned a lot in that fight. He showed a lot of heart. And like Pro Bees just said, he was real composed. You actually can't teach that, because look at Amir Khan when he got dropped by Bradis Prescott, right? It's like his body goes through convulsion. Him, Vladimir Klitschko. So you can't teach certain things. So it proves that he can keep his composure. So Ryan Garcia versus any of the guys is game. You can't go in there playing with him. People say if he got dropped by Luke Campbell, Tank just gonna knock him out. Boxing just doesn't work that way. And you also got to look at it like this. Tank can't just take those punches that he took from Leo, from Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is not playing. And he fast. And he getting more confident and more confident. He got flaws though, but that's what actually, when you got vulnerability and flaws, that increases your value, because you don't know if the dude. So,
but what did you think about the footwork that he possesses?
He was more flat-footed. His footwork, I think, is a little bit better, but since he was fighting a southpaw, he was more aggressive, and he didn't even mention that after the fight. Remember, Floyd used to fight southpaws a little bit more aggressive, so their footwork is not going to be as detailed. But I think he does have some, because he's more of a natural counterpuncher. But he walked them down.
But I'm just wondering why his corner didn't correct that, and I'm also wondering why. Okay, so he's fought two southpaws. So Campbell's his second southpaw pro fight. The first one I think was Francisco Fonseca. But I don't understand why he's having. You would have thought in camp, you know, while he's training, that they would hook him up with a million southpaws to spar against, and do like southpaw footwork, like train on that.
But so Canelo got footwork neither. Canelo got footwork neither.
It's Luke Campbell. I attribute that more to Luke Campbell than Ryan. See, Luke's the more experienced fighter. You know, he has the amateur pedigree, he's been to the Olympics, so he understands lead hand and lead foot control. Even if you notice, like Ryan Garcia was trying to shoot that jab out quickly, well, he wasn't really committing to it, and he couldn't because Luke kept hitting him with that foreign jab. Like the lead hand, lead foot control. This is things that Ryan Garcia got to figure out how to, get through. He got to commit to the jab, work behind the jab. Hit him with a 1-2, change levels, hit the body, kind of work behind that jab. But Luke was taking a lot of that away from him, and that just comes from experience and the lack thereof for Ryan Garcia. See, so I don't know, man. Like I said, I just seen a lot of things that Ryan needs to improve on fundamentally, right? Before we talk about getting in there with, I just see Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez and, you know, even Tank Davis. I don't really like to mention Tank at 135 right now because, no disrespect, these, but I don't feel like his power is even proven at 135. He knocked out Dan Boy. That's his only fight at 135. And to be perfectly honest, beating on little guys coming up from 126, that don't prove your power to me at 135. Like, you got to do it to when you move up in weight. Resistance goes up. You know what I mean? A lot of that shit matters, right? So beating up Leo Santa Cruz, come on, man. He had one fight with Miguel Flores, and that was lackluster. And that's really who he knocked out. So let's be honest. You know, that's not like punching a Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez or Lomachenko at that matter. You know, everybody's talking about Teofimo. I'm wondering if these guys can get past Vasil Lomachenko because he's still a factor in my opinion.
Right.
Like, we haven't seen these guys fight anybody on Vasil Lomachenko's level. None of them. You know, none of them. So I don't know.
We've seen Luke win, but I was thinking the same thing today. Like, I would like to see all of them against Loma, all of them. I don't think it would fare well. Some have more power, but Loma will tag you. When the way I saw Loma deal with Campbell, everybody says that Campbell put on such a good fight. He did to a certain degree, and then it got to probably like maybe to like mid-round, like maybe like halfway. And Loma, I just remember Loma had him against the ropes and was just tagging him. And Luke could not do anything about it. And I was just like, this. I was like, you, Showy. I was like, ain't he gonna move? I got Campbell in that fight. Wow.
I got a question for the panel. If you was Ryan Garcia's team, what game plan would you put in place to take advantage of Teofimo? Because Teofimo got weaknesses as well. We see Nakatani cracking him with right hands, and believe it or not, Ryan Garcia just don't got a left hook. So what game?
He got good right too.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, he got good right too.
So Nakatani works behind his jab better. See, Nakatani is more fundamentally sound than Ryan Garcia. If you watch him fight, right, and speaking of Nakatani, no one really knew that the kid was as talented as he was. But see, he comes back off a year and a half layoff and beat Philly Verdeo for the championship. So that shows you the caliber of opponent that Teofimo was facing. And these guys are just not doing that. He went from Nakatani to Kobe to Lomachenko. Like, look at who these guys are facing. So it just shows you, it was a good thing you did mention Nakatani. But the height, Nakatani's 6 foot tall. He has a 70-inch reach as well. So Teofimo's seen that, right? What has Ryan seen at Teofimo? Because there's only an inch different in height. There's only an inch and a half different in reach, right? And the size clearly goes to Teofimo, right? The dude's set for 140 already. So has Ryan seen that? Clearly, Teofimo's seen a Ryan, a taller guy, fast twitch. Nakatani's all of that, right hand. But has Ryan Garcia seen a Teofimo? No. Has he fought a guy that's going to hit him like Teofimo? Definitely not. And the first test we got, he was laid flat first, drooling on the canvas, right? So,
you don't have a game plan, D. You don't have a plan to beat him. You don't think it's possible?
Reynoso didn't he just split for trainer of the year? So I'm pretty sure he can come up with a game plan. He's a smart trainer.
I'm talking about you, D. Ain't you the number one guy in the predictions?
The thing is, I don't think that Ryan's advanced enough, and it's evident because he's talking. The talk is either Tank Davis or Haney. You know, when he got up on the mic, I didn't hear him say anything about Teofimo. I don't think they're thinking about Teofimo because they know he's not ready for that. So I couldn't give you a game plan that they couldn't. because I don't see how he beats him right now. I see more flaws in Ryan than I do in Teofimo, and I see Teofimo capitalizing off of those.
Right. Because I actually put on the notes that obviously underuse, the sparse use of the jab. I've seen commentary say that in this fight it wasn't life or death, it wasn't it wasn't instrumental that he had to use a jab. But I don't like hearing high smoke. I can only have 6, so like when somebody falls out, you can come right in smoke. I think that that's just a cop-out way of saying that, you know, that he's not used something like the jab is the first punch that you learn as a boxer. And like Dee said, you know, all of the other cats are pretty much have established jabs. So there he's not going to fare well. Definitely Devin Haney, he's got a very established jab. That's how he boxes, and he uses his jab well. So I there's a lot of things. I'm just going to just go through the notes and just, in order to be a good fighter, this must be a part of his arsenal, because like I said, Jalik, and we'll get Fight Fan Figures' opinion on this as well, and Showy's, you know, his punch selection is quite minimal, quite limited. It began to look quite predictable, because he was just like I was saying, just trying to throw that left hook religiously. But there was a few jabs on his side, and obviously Luke Campbell, dual gold Olympian, of course he's got the jab. He caught Ryan a few times in his face with that jab. But those were the. Why is he not fighting us apple pie unprepared? I was just seeing if there was anything else. What would you like to say, Leon?
I think he called it. He called it weeks before the fight that he's going to hurt into the body, and he's not going to be able to get up. He said it. He's going to hurt into the body. He's not going to be able to breathe, and that's how his fight's going to end. I think he knew that hook to the body was the money shot, and that's what he was banking on. I think he put all his chips in that basket, and just slid it over to that hook, and he just waited to keep landing it. I don't think it's a case of he doesn't have the selections. I mean, I was watching some of his. I went on his YouTube channel to do a bit more research about him, and there was some one of his training sessions. Reynoso spends time with him. Canelo spending a bit of time with him. Very much on the inside. Canelo was talking about slipping the straight, getting the hook, and Reynoso had him there doing the shadow boxing under the ropes, and it's very much about getting on the inside, and he just really wanted to. He really believed that was the way he was going to beat Luke Campbell, and I think that's what he went for. I don't think he doesn't have the selection. I don't actually think he is a flat-footed fighter. When I've seen him trading, he can be light on his feet, and he does use his feet. I just think he just he just didn't think he needed to. I thought he felt that standing on his punches and hurting Luke to the body, which is what was going to win the fight, and it was proved correct.
Yeah, but I don't want people to think that he beat Campbell easily. He didn't beat him easily.
No, it was a good fight. It was a competitive fight.
I had Campbell up in the rounds. I had Campbell.
Campbell's no joke. Come on.
Did you? We had Campbell ahead, didn't we, Pro?
You know what? At the time we did, but when I watched it again, I thought Garcia was in control. You know, I thought Garcia was in control. I thought it was close, but for me, Garcia seemed ahead. He seemed ahead.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it again, and I thought Garcia was
like in its totality.
I had it 42 rounds. I had it 42 rounds for Garcia, but Campbell had the 10-8 rounds. So
yeah,
you see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why with these watch-alongs and stuff like that, you know, we kind of get occupied by what's going on. But when you actually watch it in isolation, you see what's going on. And for my money, I think one of the viewers said that night that Garcia is in control. You lot need to reanalyze what you're saying. And I watched it again. I said, yo, Ryan Garcia was dominant. I can't lie. And he showed me a lot that night. He showed me a lot.
I don't know about that.
Anyway.
What do you think, Showy? I don't know about that, but I haven't watched it like in its entirety. But I
feel like it was, you know.
Yeah.
So I can't say that he was in control.
It was great back and forth action
the whole time.
But I think, as I was saying as well, I think the person that Garcia will be the most comfortable with fighting next is Devin Haney, because back in the amateurs, I've fought 4 times already. So they know each other literally inside out because they fought a lot of times previously. And because he's with the zone anyway, like with Eddie Hearn, and he's got his own promotional company on the side, I think it'll be much more of an easier fight to make, because obviously Teofimo's with Top Rank.
Yeah. And what did you guys think about Garcia's ring IQ? Because I found it like usually, even though he did score the knockout, kind of like in the he made Campbell fight on the back foot a hell of a lot. But Campbell can fight on the back foot, but I don't think when it was time for Campbell to move forward, he didn't. But he would always get Campbell, if you'd remember, into the corner or on the ropes, and then plant his feet, then to try and do the damage. But this is where Campbell's experience does prevail, because his ring IQ, like, he was able to still maneuver out of those positions. But I was still frustrated because as he maneuvered out of those positions, straight away, maybe you're right to a degree, Pro, that straight away Garcia placed him right back in that position. But I remember saying that Garcia seems to get lost in the center of the ring, hence he got knocked out, being more in the center of the ring. But when I've watched, when I think about it, when I've watched other fights, is Garcia in the center, in the middle of the ring fighter? Because I am getting flashes of different scenes where he has kind of fucked up to going to backing him up to the corner.
I feel like he is, because he's got quick hands.
You're delayed.
I feel like he's.
The problem is that with Ryan is that he doesn't get off center line, right? Like, he'll lean back and he'll shoot straight back, right? He'll shoot straight back. That's not going to help you with guys with longer reach, with better dimensions that can get to you, right? They're going to follow you in. A couple of times Luke Campbell followed him in and he was able to plant a shot. It's not a lot of lateral movement. Not good head movement. He kind of like, leans back and he goes straight back with it. So he does come to the center of the ring, but when the attack comes, either he shells up or he just hits that lean. And when he throws that left hook, he leaves himself totally exposed, which, concerns me with guys with that fast twitch counter like Teofimo Lopez. I mean, you get a guy that tuck his shoulder in there, you don't land that left hook, now you open clean, right?
Right.
And you get one of those punches. And again, man, I'm just saying, like, these other guys, they're younger. Devin Haney, both of these guys, or even Tank. If you watch the Tank Leo Santa Cruz fight, how many shots at times he had Leo Santa Cruz missing. These guys have better defense than Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney's probably the most elusive out of the 4 of those guys, right? Teofimo shown defense, although he gets hit as well. But these guys have shown better defense than Ryan Garcia, and that's what concerns me with Ryan is where he keeps that head hanging high. He can't do that with Tank and Teo for sure. He can't do that with Tank and Teo. Man,
and especially as he gets older and he moves up like weight categories, and then you're going to be with that lack of head movement, you're going to be getting clocked by much heavier dudes. So you won't be bouncing back up off that canvas. It would be good night, God bless, won't it? So that's something that his team's going to have to nip in the bud real quick. Would you say, Lee? Did you notice his lack of head movement?
Yes, but I do think that just came from I don't think he believed that Campbell could hurt him. I think he didn't see himself getting knocked down. I just don't think he thought that. And when he got up, it's a case of you've been hit, let's rock, isn't it? You weren't going to change the game plan. I thought I had to show him respect for that. He didn't panic. I don't think he showed any signs of panic. He stuck with the game plan. He kept a level head. He made it, and he just kept pushing back at Luke. And,
yeah, but what was his game plan? By watching that performance, what was his game plan?
Get inside and hurt him to the body. It was to get inside and hurt him to the body.
But if you guys notice that Ryan Garcia had that, this is not something that just persisted in this Luke Campbell fight. When he fought Dono, it was the same thing. When he fought Fonseca, it was the same thing. You know, this is an issue that I've been looking at with Ryan, and I'm saying to myself, what is Reynoso going to do with that? Because if you watch Ryan against Fonseca, Dono, when he fought that kid Lopez, you know, if you watch Ryan Garcia, keeping that head, this has been a consistent problem with his. It's not because of anything Luke was able or not able to do. This is why Luke caught him, because he doesn't tuck that chin. He doesn't tuck that chin, nor does he leaves that head hanging high, and he doesn't get off center line. And you know, guys are faster and can capitalize. Look, simple feints leave you open, right? Simple feints, they leave you open. You swing, you miss, and now his head is hanging high, right there for the taking. And guys like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, they're going to get responses. They're going to hit him, and they're going to get responses with those feints. And he's going to fall for it. They're going to set traps that he's going to fall right into.
Right.
He's put up like that, man. I mean, it's no good. It's no good for him.
Right. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people talk about that, but you know what? I think it's he's almost just become complacent, because obviously with like Duno and Fonseca, like you're annihilating dudes in one round. So how many skills do you have? What kind of skill set do you really need to rely on, like, or that you can actually offset when you're just seeing people in one round? Because all he's relying on is, you know, a bit of power and speed. So who cares about where he's thinking? Who cares where my head's not moving? Because I'm coming in, and within a minute they're all out. But this fight taught him that these things do need to be put into play, because not everybody you're going to be able to get out in the first 1 or 2 rounds. So yeah, I just think it's complacency. But yet again, it keeps me, I'm still shocked that Reynoso is not tweaked these things even to this stage. Do you understand? It's like, oh, just let him go. Yeah, he's perfect as he is. He doesn't need to work on his footwork. He got power. He don't need to work on his footwork. He got speed. He don't need to work on his head movement. I
don't think Reynoso's that type of trainer to think they don't need to do more work. I think Reynoso's with Canelo. I think Reynoso's with Canelo, and I think that as much as all the skills Canelo's got, he's still improving him. I think he will improve Garcia. I think that his focus was to win that fight. I think he appreciated the stiffer challenge, because Ryan hadn't been having many rounds. How many rounds? He had like 9 rounds in his previous 3 fights with him or something like that. He hadn't seen much of him in competitive bouts. And he had the game plan. He believed in the game plan, and ultimately it turned right. I think it is risky to think I'm going to stand in there, rely on my power and my speed, so you can come for me and I'm going to get there first. It is risky, and you will take hits, but I don't think that will be how he boxes throughout his career. As Dee was saying, as he faces stiffer competition, he will have to use more movement. He will have to be more light on his feet. He will have to show more tools to his training. But for now, I think it's a successful formula.
Well, I just think I know as a fighter, he's definitely going to evolve, and nobody's capping him at the stage of what he is.
100%.
I just think the things that we are bringing up, some of them should be implemented. They already, or at least a bit of the seed. Like at least we should be able. Like there's a lot of things that we can see are missing.
Well, to be fair to Reynoso, Shan, to be fair to Reynoso, we've prior to this fight, he's only had 4 rounds, right? Like, what are you going to see in 4 rounds? He stopped Lopez in 2, and Fonseca and Dono, he took him out in the first round. So like this is really the first time you get to see. Now, if you look at Ryan, what is the kid? The kid that was sticking his tongue out and all of that shit. With the hair, the kid Rodriguez he fought. You remember that fight, Jalik? The kid was showboating and Ryan knocked him through the rope.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kid there, it was 5 rounds. Prior to Reynoso, that's all we got. Now, if you go look at the Rodriguez fight and then you go look at Luke Campbell fight, then you actually do see improvements. But it's just not enough, is my thing. When we talk about, okay, I see improvement from Rodriguez to Luke Campbell, but what I see out of Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez and even Tank Davis, it's just not enough. It's not enough to me.
No, not enough improvement. So do you really think that we're gonna, why is he so adamant in calling out for Tank? If he's not down for legacy, wouldn't you think that legacy wise, you know, you want to get the belt and Amy has that?
That's Showy. Hey, Jalik, the dude Showy was trying to say something. He got a delay, fam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Showy, you got a mad delay on your thing. So when you
go ahead, Showy.
Go.
Oh yeah, I was saying I think the reason he wants them fights now is because he knows the iron's hot now, and if he takes them guys later on down the line, they're going to be harder to beat. So he's thinking if I can catch them while they're not as good, he might feel like he's got more of a chance as opposed to fighting them later down the line.
What do you think, Pro?
Profile is the first thing that I'm thinking, because obviously, look, that's a big money fight. Is Devin Haney as a big fight as Tank? I don't think so. So for me, I think profile is definitely one of them, and also as well, again, Tank is he's not proven at 130. Like, for all his power, for all the hype, he's not really proven at 135. Sorry. So that's probably another reason. And obviously, you've got the reach difference, which he seems to be confident in, you know, using to his advantage against Tank. So I think there's a number of reasons why he wants Gervonta Davis. But for me, I think it's a payday. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a payday, straight up.
Yeah, but then who would?
It's all about the moolah.
Sorry, Jalik, you go through. I forgot.
No, like I said, that's like just, you know, they got the versus battles in music, right? This is like Bieber versus Chris Brown. It's a business, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because I've been saying this for a while. I think this is gonna be the biggest U.S. pay-per-view in the game, even bigger than Earl Spence versus Terrence Crawford, because Justin Bieber know how to promote himself and he know how to put himself out there. Terrence Crawford, one of my favorites, he doesn't talk to the media. He doesn't. It's like he doesn't understand public relations too well. So it's a big money fight. And to his credit, though, he actually called out all three of them. He said, "I want Tank first." Then he said he want T.O. and Devin Haney. So he actually said it. And he was like, when he mentioned Teofimo, he was like, you know, Teofimo's kind of short. He'll use his jab. So he actually called all of them out. But he said he actually was going to retire when he was 26. So I think he's just trying to get in and get out. Well, I mean, so, and he can only fight on once at a time. So I don't think that's a duck if they try to force him to fight Haney and he fight Tank, because a lot of people rank Tank higher than Devin Haney. But why would you fight Devin Haney for less money? And his defense is on point. It's going to be hard to hit Devin Haney. It's going to be a little easier to hit Tank. And it is a bigger fight. So I think it makes sense, to be honest.
It's going to be easier to get knocked out by Tank, too.
He just don't know about his power, though. So which one is it, D?
I said, look, I don't have to be convinced of Tank Davis's power to know that he hits harder than that pillow-fisted Devin Haney that couldn't knock out a 56-year-old Gamboa who was chinnying on his way out the door. Cut it out. He hit harder than him, that's for sure.
Right.
Do you think that the calling out Tank was Golden Boy, the promotional device to kind of mirror the whole Mayweather De La Hoya with the with the Tank and Garcia, kind of trying to relive that and make that into some kind of build up into a mega showdown?
Yep.
Yeah.
Could be marketing
Spot
101.
on, bro. It's just promotion. Spot on. I'm with it.
Yeah, it could be marketing 101. And then there's also who would be, if he was to fight, if Garcia was to fight Tank, who would be the A side? Because obviously you're dealing with money made. Will he allow to? Because in my opinion, Garcia would be the A side. Who would be the A side for you guys?
It would be Tank. It would be Tank or 50-50 because Tank is bigger. Like I actually went to his last fight. He be selling his gates be big. And he be selling in different cities, Baltimore, Cali. So Tank could probably be bigger. But I think there's no belts. I think it's gonna be 50-50. Tank is bigger, actually. He is.
Tank got a belt. He got the WBA regular.
I know, but then when you're dealing with someone in this new age, 7.88 million Instagram followers alone, like the battle of the A sides is. I don't know.
Oh, you think he'd be A side? I mean, he could. I mean, and
listen, man.
Nobody's gonna. You know how they are over there. They don't want nobody to be. They don't bow down to nobody being ace. You know how Floyd is.
You know what, Jalik? The thing is that Tank really shouldn't even be in the conversation because Tank Davis fans, I said this earlier on another podcast, Tank Davis fans has more faith in Tank Davis than Floyd and Ellaby does. We know consistently, this is not guesswork. We know that Floyd and Ellaby are not going to put Tank into any fight that you don't look at and say Tank's going to win. Right. They have it his entire career. And the guys that we're literally talking about right now, you can look at that fight and say, hey, Tank could lose this fight, or this guy could win. Teofimo could win, and he could win, Ryan could win. You've never seen Tank in a fight like that because they're not going to put him in a fight like that. Before we even talk about 135 and why I don't even think he should be in the conversation, Floyd ain't even going to put him in there with Miguel Berchelt at 130. He won't even put him in that line of fire. So I don't even know why we sitting here clamoring on about Tank Davis in the conversation. Because old wide-nosed Ellaby and Floyd not going to put him nowhere near any of those guys. And I can promise you that. They're not.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, D, because
I don't think so either. Not right now. I don't think that.
I don't.
Gary Russell will be next.
I don't know about that, bro.
Gary Russell will be next, Jalik. They'll pull him up from 126.
Gary Russell,
pull another guy up from 126. Make it like it's a big fight. Watch
and
Tank
then put Tank with him, right? And let Tank beat up on the smaller dudes. That's all, yeah.
You score without the competition. That Ryan Garcia is a perfect competition, and especially with him getting knocked down, that showed more vulnerability. It's like, okay, they feel more comfortable taking the fight, so it's a risk reward. It's even now, and it's a big fight. So, who else Tank gonna be to be this big pay-per-view star that Leonard Ellaby always talking about? Oh, Tank's the star. He's this A side. We don't, So who else is he gonna fight? He's not gonna fight Teofimo right now, even though they
Gary Russell Jr. They're gonna bring Gary Russell up for 126.
That'd be good in Brooklyn, but I don't know some of Gary Russell, bro. I don't know if he gonna get that fight. I don't, and that's a risk they probably don't want to take. Well, they are both with Al Heyman, so that's actually a good fight, but you might be right, D. But I think it'd be Ryan Garcia. It makes sense. Ryan Garcia, if it's not I think it'd be Ryan Garcia. Who else he gonna fight? I'm trying to think. Who else can he?
I just want Garcia.
Do you think Ryan could beat? Do you think Ryan has a chance to beat Tank Jalik?
Yeah, I think he got a chance to beat all of them.
That's why you're not going to see Floyd and Ellaby put him in that goddamn fight right there.
Nah,
that's exactly why you don't see him put him in the fight. Let's be honest. What fight in his entire career did you say, "Oh, Tank gonna lose this fight"?
Nah,
which one?
That's in the past. Pay-per-view. Nah, you're right though. I'm not disagree with you on that. But in the pay-per-view game, dude, we both got to admit that in order to be a pay-per-view star, you have to have fights where people don't know if you're going to win or not. It's not the Mike Tyson era where you can fight guys that,
That's bullshit, Jalik. That's bullshit. He just pulled off a pay-per-view pulled off a pay-per-view with little Leo Santa Cruz.
I'm talking about.
He says a 4 division champ. He could take him to deep waters. And if you believe that bullshit, then you would buy the fight. Guess what? They have people buy the fight because he sold it. It's like Vince McMahon. He sold you this illusion. We knew damn well, anybody with any sense knew damn well little Leo Santa Cruz was going to be slapped.
See, I know. Right? I want to ask my UK.
Hey, boys. I'm going to have to come in and referee this. I'm going to have to referee this. I'm going to have to get my Ken Bayless on. Let me get my Ken Bayless on. Let me get that on. One sec. Right. Defend yourself at all times. Yeah. I want a clean, nice fight. All right. Yeah. We don't want any loaded fucking gloves around here. Let me check these motherfucking gloves.
I just had a question for the UK though. Skill-wise, I'm talking about skills, not competition. If you actually look at them on tape, skill-wise, who has more skills, Tank or Tia Female? Skills.
Ask the panel. So, Pep, Pro, who has more skills?
I think Tank's got more skills than Ryan Garcia.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people think that.
That's my opinion.
I love Tank, man. He's a monster. He's a little monster.
Yeah, but they ain't going to fight straight away anyway. You know, the promoters are going to build them up a little bit more because the element of risk is there. So let's just be honest with each other.
Right. Yeah.
But
I agree.
Book up. Yeah, they'll book up.
It's not happening. It's not happening anytime soon. There's no point of us like religiously just keep on speaking about it. Like Tank has a lot to prove as well. So yeah, but Tank has a lot, like what D says. Tank has a hell of a lot to prove to me. Get the smoke. I can see you guys. I can see you in the waiting room. I can see you. Don't worry.
Hey, Shan, I gotta run, sweetheart. I appreciate you having me on. I wanted all the guys come and rock. Jalik,
yeah.
Hey, Jalik, remember, Sunday at 10 o'clock, Jalik, you come to my class and I school you. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be on later tonight. You talking about? I'll be on later tonight. All right, bro.
Peace out, fellas.
Gang. Oi, D, did you leave your details in the private chat for me?
I put it all in the private chat for you.
All right, thank you. Thanks a lot. All right, see you soon. I'll see you later. Thanks, D. Yeah, let me just add in. Get this smile. What up, mister?
Hey, what's up, people? Hey, Lady Shan. I've been in the chat, like just champing at the bit to get in here and, share my perspective with you guys. But yeah, it's been 5 streams so far. What's up, people?
What's up, Professor?
What's up? Good. For you?
Yeah. He's what? So where do you want to jump in with Smoke?
Yeah, well, the idea that Ryan Garcia is the goods at this point, or that he is about to beat Tank, or the fact that fight is one of the biggest fights in boxing, or I mean, you name it. The fight, Ryan Garcia having a dominant performance. What I saw, and listen, I'm coming out of California. I know the patch of dirt that Ryan Garcia is fighting out of. It's very hot in the desert out there. It's a very small town. Shout out to Victorville, Adelanto, all that. But what I'm saying to you is what I just witnessed is what I will call like the 21st century promotion. A guy who is calling out a bunch of people that fights we want to see, but that's not the fights we're going to see because he's not ready for that. And we can all, as much as we want to praise the guy, we saw the fact that if you are in the business, the long-term, the long-term financial business for a Ryan Garcia, you are not going to try to get him hurt versus a Tank Davis in the next 4 or 5 months. There's no point to it. The dude's too young. You can let him develop as a fighter. There's just nothing behind it. You got the Machados of the world who just, used to be a champion at 135, who's a southpaw. Luke Campbell can knock that guy off, figure out where to place his footwork, where to place his feet, what shot to make. The idea that he's going to be able to explode through the pocket and hit a Tank Davis the way he just did to Luke Campbell, I don't see it. I don't see him being able to outbox a Devin Haney, who, as I heard you point out, lady, has a superior jab. But beyond him having a superior jab, he has superior feet. So just getting behind his stick and being gone is easy work, right? I see it not even being that exciting a fight. And it's a close fight because I think that in that fight, Luke Campbell, sorry, Ryan Garcia is likely to be the guy landing the harder shots. So
Right.
in a loss, he will look good against a Devin Haney.
Right.
In a loss against a Tio or a Tank, he's not only not going to look good, but it potentially may shave years off of his career and put a glass on his ceiling. It may put a limit on his actual growth potential.
On there, yeah.
Yeah, like we saw what happened when what happened after Maidana hit Adrian Broner. The dude hasn't thrown his hands yet. We saw what happened once Edwin Rosario hit Camacho. That dude turned into a defensive fighter after that. Like there are fights that if you are not ready for that kind of fight, it will definitely it will change the kind of fighter you become
should have
for
been
the rest of your career, right? So at this point, the guy's just, in my view, not ready for a puncher. Let him work on his technical deficiencies before you get there with a guy who is as precise and as powerful a puncher as Tank Davis, or who has act right in both gloves like a Teofimo Lopez. Right? So that's the technical breakdown. The financial breakdown, there's this correlation that I hear boxing fans making about social media followers versus actual marketability in the sport.
It comes apart. As much as it sounds really pathetic, it actually now does play a part in negotiating.
Well, they say now, right? But I think it's not now. I think it's in the future. I think people are attributing the future to right now. Because at this point, we have not seen any sort of correlation between his social media popularity and butts and seats or viewership. So when we get those numbers, then you can say now. But as far as what we've got till now, all we've got is social media following and him saying that he makes more money out of the sport than he makes inside of the sport. So,
but we don't know though, because the Zone don't release the figures, do they? So we don't know whether he's having an impact, whether he's 8.1 million followers or sign up.
Right. So, but what we do know, though, right? We can see the arena. We do, and we can see the lack of people there. Right. And I feel like it is beyond rational to think that he is now more popular during the COVID than he was before COVID. Right. I mean, he wasn't packing them out before COVID. Why would he be packing
them out? Restricted capacity because of COVID. Wasn't it restricted capacity?
Right, but I'm saying I get there's restricted capacity, but there's not been any growth in his profile during COVID. Like, what made him so popular during COVID? Like, did he have a car accident? Did he meet with the president? Like, nothing's happened. He wasn't popular outside of social media before COVID. Nothing happened with his career during COVID. So why would we assume that he is somehow more popular now? I don't, I will reserve my judgment. Like I love the way that the guy is building his brand, and I think that at some point there will be some sort of correlation. But at this point, all we've seen from these guys who are trying to convert their social media popularity to boxing, these guys have way more social media following than Ryan Garcia, and we don't. And I just
he's got way more social media following than
YouTubers.
Right, the KSIs of the world, and the logo. Yes, the guys who are actually the guys who are actually parlaying their social media success into boxing. Like those guys have gigantic social media following. They dwarf Ryan Campbell's, right? So I mean Ryan Garcia's. So at this point, I think that he is trying to marry two worlds that don't really coexist right now. They could in a year, and the Tank Davis fight would probably go a long way into marrying these two groups, but it hasn't happened yet. And until that happens, I don't know. The highest viewership that Tank has on record is 600,000, and that's on regular TV, right? So where all this viewership is supposed to come from, I haven't seen it.
So in that fight, Tank would be the A side, really, in your opinion, then?
I mean, I think Tank would be the A side in everybody's opinion, except for Ryan Garcia, who's already said
that his estimation. Garcia would be Like,
Yeah.
I think there'd be a real battle for A side and that.
Yeah,
So we need to know what money DAZN will put up for it to know.
Only because Ryan Garcia says he makes more money outside of boxing.
There's 4 egos that you have to deal with within that fight. De La Hoya, Money May, Garcia, Tank.
Right. So we got a guy who's a 2-time champion and actually 3-time champion at 130, right? And then and has a secondary belt at 135 versus a guy who has a secondary belt at 135. One guy's done pay-per-views, one guy's done headlines. We know what his numbers are. Another guy we don't. But one guy, when we talk about his popularity, we go to social media followings. We don't even know how many of those are bots. We don't we have absolutely no idea, right? And so like the idea that you're going to go into a serious business meeting and say and repeat what Ryan Garcia is talking about when it comes to A side, to me, it doesn't hold water. I think that he's going to get laughed out of that particular meeting, right? And not only that, yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So,
Tank's been world champion 2 times, so you have to respect that. It has to be the A side if there was to fight.
Yeah, I see. In order to get pay-per-views nowadays, or even before, you had to get casual fans. He is able to get casual fans, like you mentioned. Logan Paul and KSI. What's the threshold? Just because they got maybe extra 10 million on YouTube, that doesn't take away from the fact that Ryan does have a big presence on YouTube. If you go to his YouTube channel, he be getting millions and millions of views on his YouTube channel. Also there. So
but if you're
he is a world champion. He is trending, and you got to realize that casual it's different perspectives. When you start talking about pay-per-view, we as diehards have to take ourselves out of the equation. Casual people think totally different. They don't know the weight classes. They just want to see a good fight. It was pop culture. You see it's on TMZ Sports already calling them out. It's all about pop culture. And once you mix pop culture with like award shows and music, and then that's when it starts trending even bigger. And then a lot of people are already on there because you see Michael B. Jordan is tweeting them, giving them props. LeBron James is giving them props. So he's developing himself right before our eyes. So the social media presence does make a difference. And he also know how to sell. He's great with the media. So I give him credit. Now, does he have a chance to lose? Yes, he does. And then so does Tank. Tank got something to lose too. Like I said before, he can't take punches like he took from Leo Santa Cruz. And I don't like guys that I want them all to make money, so I don't like to be pocket watching. But I think that Leo Santa Cruz got the same amount as Tank in his last fight. So if Leo Santa Cruz,
I think they were split down the middle.
Exactly. So if Leo Santa Cruz got the same amount, Ryan Garcia is much bigger than Leo Santa Cruz, way bigger than Leo Santa Cruz.
What was the person
what are you basing this on?
The person they split down the middle. Hold up. The person they split down the middle for the Santa Cruz and Tank. What was it? 2.5 milli or 1.5
milli? It was something that reported. So
yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So that's what I'm saying though. He can and if he lose, he lose. Like, I'm not his manager, so if he not ready, but he think he ready, then put him in there. You gotta
right,
bro. It ain't no
right. So, but he does have managers, and he also has trainers. He may think he's ready, but they may not think he's ready, and it's very obvious, right? That he has, and it's obvious to anybody who is watching boxing that this dude does not know where to place his. Okay, so first up, let me just go to the fallacy, right? So the idea that Leo Santa Cruz was able to touch Tank, so therefore Ryan can touch Tank. Leo Santa Cruz is a much better boxer, way more polished at this point than Ryan Garcia, right? I think that it is reasonable to say that if Leo Santa Cruz had Ryan Garcia's power, then we would have seen a much different fight against Tank. If Leo Santa Cruz had Ryan Garcia's power, but there's nothing that you can extrapolate from what Ryan Garcia did from what Leo Santa Cruz did against Tank to Ryan Garcia, because Leo Santa Cruz knows where to put his feet, because Leo Santa Cruz is a volume puncher, because Leo Santa Cruz is a much more technically sound fighter. So the idea that all of a sudden Ryan Garcia, especially by Cinco de Mayo, in the next 5 months, is going to have the technical proficiency of a Leo Santa Cruz, and therefore can imitate any of the success that Leo Santa Cruz had. Like, I don't get it. I don't see it. The guy's just not ready. He can get ready, and I think 9 months to a year, different fight. Now you're talking. Possibly, but from what I just saw out of Luke Campbell, we say Luke Campbell is a decorated amateur. That's true. Also, he was a decorated amateur as a grown man. As a matter of fact, at the same age Tank is right now, he was getting a gold medal at bantamweight, 126 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. So Tank right now is already punching harder than Leo Santa Cruz or than Ryan Garcia. Than Luke Campbell, at any point in his career. Right?
We all know that Luke isn't. He's not a power puncher.
He literally is not that dude. No. So the idea, not only is he not that dude as far as a power puncher goes, he's not that dude when it comes to finishing. So even like the breakdown I heard about, Luke Campbell finish, I thought he was gonna be okay or all this stuff. That's cool. You could think that, but you still put some water in that basement. You still you make sure, right? You think that he could be okay, but you check your theory with a couple of punches, right? Downstairs to the chin. Check to see if your theory is right. You don't just assume that you're correct and then don't push the gas. Tank don't push that gas. Tio would push the gas. That's all. Like, I'm just saying that tank fight is not for anybody who actually is in the business of managing a Ryan Garcia career.
Right. So because I'm not going to make this a long show, because actually here it's already like after.
Sorry. I was in the chat straight tripping, right? So sorry, guys.
No, Smoke, you know me. I ride out with you guys all day. I'm on UK time at 5 a.m. chopping it up with you guys. I can't do this to my other UK lads. They ain't built like me. They ain't built like me, Smoke. They ain't built like me. So I'll probably meet you on another platform, Smoke, anyway. Like after this, it's not a problem. But I just wanted to keep it like kind of snappy, and within closing, like everybody say, so who is Ryan Garcia to them? So we'll start with Showy. Who is Ryan Garcia thus far?
Ryan Garcia is he's a flashy kid who's got a great future ahead of him. He's got a great future ahead of him, and in my opinion, he's only going to improve from here. However, in my humble opinion, I don't think he's ready for Tank right now. But with social media right now, they're trying to build him as the new Oscar De La Hoya, like the Wonder Kid, especially because of his social media platform. But a young kid with loads of potential. That's Ryan Garcia. Yeah.
Right. Oh, we got hi, Sammy Ali. Sorry, I'm biased, but believe us UK fans. Let me just get, because he joined late. UK fans and critics are more logical in our conversations about boxing and never over or under look any competitor. But at the minute, I don't know what's been happening to us, because other than the heavyweight cats, that's the only category that we're actually smashing. Everywhere else, we're going over with the other cats, and we're getting knocked. We're getting knocked like bowling pins on an alley, mate. So I don't know. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we need to kind of step your game up. Gotta step it up a little bit, don't we? So yeah, I get you, Sammy. I get you, but we gotta step our game up, to be honest. Fight fan figures.
I think Ryan Garcia for me is potential greatness, but the reason he is because he's got a lot of competition out there. There's many other fights that he can have that can be career-defining fights. All of them in that division have 2 or 3 fights that they can pick and have career-defining fights, be genuine 50-50 fights where we're not sure who the winner is. Lopez is out at the front at the moment because he's gone and dethroned Loma. But I do think Garcia has the biggest platform. Being alongside Canelo, he has one of the biggest platforms to help him. And yeah, I just think potential greatness is what it's unproven, but potential greatness.
Absolutely.
Pro B's Pep Talk UK.
Yes. Ryan Garcia, talented kid, you know, very popular kid. I feel like there's still a little bit more, you know, development that he needs to kind of
a lot more, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he needs to, because to be honest, you come up against your first real test and you go down in the second round. For me, it speaks volumes, you know. But again, he's a 22-year-old kid that is popular on social media. He has had 200 amateur fights. He's got the amateur pedigree to some degree, but in the pro game, he is a talent that has a popular social media following. And we need to be a bit patient with some of these guys and realize that for the future, the next 5 years, we've got a good, talented crop of 135 going upwards. I even think to 147. I can see these guys moving through the weights and entertaining us boxing fans. So let's not get overhyped about things. Let's like calm down and just say, look, he's a talented kid, but so's Teofimo, yeah, but so's Devin Haney, yeah, but so's
potential,
yeah, exactly. And let's not forget Lomachenko as well. You know, he's a master boxer himself, and he only lost one fight. So let's calm down and realize he is a kid that has lots of potential, and he has the marketing aura and package about him that seems very appealing to a mass audience. So my opinion, Ryan Garcia is a talent for the future that we need. He's one to watch for the future. That's what I'd say.
Hey, Pro B's, don't take Orlando Salido's victory away from him.
against Loma, yeah.
yeah. That's two L's, baby.
And don't forget.
What are you saying, Showy?
2 L's, yeah. Orlando Salido, yeah. That was his second pro fight, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Jay to the leak.
Yeah, I say let them go. You know, if you want to go, it's like if you live in your parents' house and you telling your mom, like, your mom don't want you to leave the nest, you got to go. Some people is ready to go, and sometimes you just got to learn on your own and through your mistakes. You know, you can always sit back and say, oh, this is there, I don't want to move to this neighborhood because it's too dangerous, or this and this. But when you trying to go for greatness, you got to go for it. So if he's saying he's trying to be out of there by 26, let him go for it. If he look, see the thing that we're doing too is we're looking at a loss as making him being a loser. Gamboa lasted 12 rounds, and Gamboa is very chinny, and he started off at 126. So if Gamboa at 135 can last 12 rounds, Ryan Garcia, you got to give him a chance, and he's much, much younger. So I say let him go for it, because we don't get to see a lot of fights. And if he's not ready, then he's not ready. That doesn't mean that his diehard fans, whatever, he's going to lose fans. We being undefeated, it's not too many Mayweathers and Calzaghes and people out there that's just going to go undefeated. So let him go. And he does have a chance. He's game against all of them, because those other fighters have flaws as well. I mean, look at his amateur. He beat Virgil Ortiz, who's nice in the amateur. So he definitely has a lot to work on. Canelo's team, Canelo don't got footwork, so that's not their specialty in the Reynoso camp. So I say let him go, and if he lose, he just lose, and then that's cool. He still can build up, because like I say, he's the Justin Bieber of boxing. Let him go.
That kills me when you say that, Jaleel. I would say that who Ryan Garcia is at the moment, Ryan Garcia indeed is the future. Ryan Garcia is the prototype to a new way of boxing. Ryan Garcia is going to make, along with the other guys, Haney, Tank, I hope to see them all flourish, definitely going from here 135 to definitely 147. But this is about who Ryan Garcia is. So I just said Ryan Garcia is gonna, like I said, he's the prototype. He's gonna bridge the gap between, as we are now witnessing, and we are already talking about it. And even though Smoke is saying, well, hold the reins there, but we can see that it's going to be, social media is going to be a part of leverage. It's going to be. They're from that school. They're from that era. They're the kids. So we're seeing Ryan Garcia craft that lane out. My opinion, nothing wrong with it. You know, older people always want to shoot down what the youngins do. They did it to our elders, did it to us, and I'm not going to make the same type of thing and do it to him. But Ryan Garcia is the future, and if we use a commercial slogan, the future's bright. The future's orange.
The future's orange.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't heard that he was gonna.
Future's blonde. You got blonde hair?
Huh?
I said the future's blonde. You got blonde hair today. It's not orange,
The
man.
future's not orange today. It's blonde. Yeah. Thanks for the
blonde,
Showy.
Yeah. So I didn't hear that Ryan is gonna. He said he's gonna stick around till he hits 26. That's real good news because if he we know the pandemic happened, and so tomorrow's not promised. But if you keep on that trajectory of 2 fights a year, that's 8 fights. I think 8 fights is a great amount of time for him to fix a bunch of his issues before he moves out of the division. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, he definitely, with that kind of management, the future is definitely his.
Yeah. So, guys, I would like to thank you for each and everyone. Showy The Ras, Fight Fan Figures.
It's been great fun.
love.
Delete the leader.
Nice
From Pep Talk UK. Massively appreciated for joining me on Come Box with Chan. So I'm going to bid you all adieu. And this is, thank you for watching Come Box with Chan. Hey girl, it's Lady Shan. Nonetheless, straight from the